Hope you can't hear this fan. I got a really old fan. Walter Davis. That's the name of a channel. It's a gentleman. I'm not sure where he is. Makes nice comments. Good guy. And I'll put his name in the title. I can't do links, but go check out his channel. Give him a sub. But makes quality comments. When I did the video about the two dogs, the two collars for your dog, of course this could save your dog's life or something. He made a comment about his dogs fighting and chewing each other, grabbing each other by the face and this kind of stuff. And I wanted to reply to that in a video because I couldn't do it in in comments. Like I said, I've just been real busy. Anyhow, Walter Davis. There's a couple things you can do, but it also depends on your situation. And I'll put this back on me because I made this mistake for a very long time. This may not apply to you, but just we'll throw it out there. Your dogs are fighting. I think you said you had two dogs. When I started collecting dogs, let's say, back in 2005. And I worked at a animal rescue thing. I volunteered. And the dogs that just couldn't get adopted, many were really old, on their way out, tough to foster, that kind of thing. I would take those dogs home. And I had some sick dogs, some dogs that needed medications, and no one was going to adopt a dog that was on meds and all this kind of stuff. Some of them were pretty cool dogs. And so that started me down this road. And the fact that I was dealing with strays, people dumping strays out here and that sort of thing. I had a group of 6 dogs when I started. And then bringing a new one in, something like that. And what would happen, this first batch of dogs, of the 6, only one was an adult. The other 5 were coming up out of they were puppies. And as they started to become adults themselves, they had to figure out the hierarchy or the pecking order of their pack. I didn't know anything about this stuff back then. And so we started having fights. And the fights started to get pretty, I had to take dogs to vets, get them sewed up. It's costing me money. They're getting tore up. And I didn't know what to do. And so a little bit after that, a friend of mine, or associate, I guess you should say, he had to go to prison. And he had this Rottweiler. He said, "Hey, man, I got to put my Rottweiler somewhere. Can you take it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." Nice dog, but very intimidating and scared the other dogs. So I put her with a group and they started fighting. This went on for a bit. And I just got really frustrated. Went through one day with a rubber hose and beat the hell out of everybody after one of these fights. And then I would take a old galvanized metal trash can, and for 3-4 days I'd walk through the dog yard with a stick and beat this trash can so loud they'd all just get scared, run into their shelters or dog houses and wouldn't come out. I did this for 3 or 4 days, just out of frustration. I'm not saying that you should do this, but it's just out of frustration. And that kind of changed everything. What I'm trying to say is when my dogs were fighting, the problem was me, not so much the dogs. The dogs are doing what they do. I'd put a group of dogs together, created a pack. I wasn't the leader. I'm just the guy that fed them. And no matter what I thought, but they had to come up with their pecking order. And I said, I didn't know any of this stuff back then. And so they were going to choose who the pack leader was going to be, and they did that by fighting or dominating. Then a new dog comes in, completely threatens, screws up the existing established pecking order. They got to do it again. That's why I keep getting all these fights. And so the problem wasn't my dogs. The problem was me, because I didn't know that I needed to be the head of that pack, the leader of that pack. I didn't know the position was there. And when I went and scared the hell out of them all with the hose and the trash can and all that, I saw that they were no longer concerned about each other and where they stood in rank. They were concerned about pleasing me, or not pissing me, pissing off the crazy guy. So the first thing I'll say is if you have a consistent problem with your dogs fighting, you have a pack issue. They're trying to decide which one is going to dominate the other one, and really that shouldn't be a decision they get to make. You should dominate both of them. But that's difficult to do. Dogs are our pets. We love our pets, and it's not easy. Okay. And dogs dogs are very similar to horses. They want to be led. They don't want to be the pack leader. So that's the first thing you might want to address. If you get a chance, you've heard of Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. Read his book, his first book. Real eye-opener for me. Easy to read and worth whatever you pay for it. Now, the other thing you could do is if these two dogs are continually going after each other, you get on eBay, you might have to pay, they're not that expensive, but you get a good hard plastic muzzle. And I think they use them for racing dogs or something. My dad got some. They were for greyhound racers or something like that. And they can be breed specific. But you put plastic muzzles on them, not those cloth ones. And then you put them out together. They'll scratch and fuss or whatever, but they can't tear each other up with their teeth. And over time, they'll knock each other around, and one will end up being the dominant player. He'll end up being the leader of the pack. Now, that does not fix your problem of you. That doesn't put you in the pack leader position. They're going to work it out, which doesn't mean they're always going to be happy with their established situation. They might fight again. So like I said, it doesn't cure the pack issue, the pecking order. It just puts a muzzle on them until they figure it out for themselves. My dad has done that with his dogs. He has. I won't even go into that. He's a great example of what not to do. The other thing is, are these dogs together 24/7? All of my dogs, throughout the day, they'll be with each other. At night, they're either in their own pen, their own crate, or on their own tie-out. No dog can make contact with any other dog here at night. So when I go to bed at night, I lock everybody up where they go. And what they do is it's kind of like a prison yard. They're always watching their back. And you get that's just dogs. That's what they do. And so when they know, okay, it's nighttime, I get to go into my crate or my pen or out on my yard or my tie-out, and no one can get me, it gives them a chance to relax, put their guard down, and sleep. And when I started doing that, that was real effective. That knocked out a lot of the fighting because they had their own time. They weren't together constantly. Because they just stress. If they're around each other all the time, they'll stress and you'll start getting fights. Another one, are they fixed? I'm assuming these are males. If they're males, get them fixed. No reason to have testicles on them. You get testicular cancer, they'd pee all over everything, fight, this and that. That'll cut out 50% of your problems right there, just getting them fixed. Now, maybe they're breeding dogs. Maybe there's some fancy pedigree or something like that. And you got a couple of them. Well, in that case, you need to separate them. Because I want my breeding dog to be a dominant fighter, thinks his business don't stink kind of thing. If I had a breeding dog, I would just separate them. Because that'll, putting two good breeding dogs together, especially if they have smells of other females on them or something like that, that's going to be a constant fight, constant battle. So if they were breeders, or even if just one is a breeder, separate them. Another thing, if they're females, good luck. Because every dog fight we've ever had here, if I've had 20 dog fights, 19 of them were started by the females. And you just can't fix females. I think there was one other thing. Like I said, get them fixed, separate them, keep them at night they shouldn't be together. They should get their own spot. If you have two dogs and you get a situation where, gee, where will I put them? You could create one, not the other, rotate them or something. Keep one in the house, one outside the house, whatever's easiest. You don't have to spend a lot of money doing it. But separating them, that helps. Because even if one dog seems like he's happy and they're still trying to work their thing out, the less dominant one, he's taking a beating, even if it's just psychological. So they need to have their space. I know I'm forgetting something. Check out the Cesar Millan book. Like I said, the muzzles, that idea works, but it doesn't change the real problem, which is you need to be the leader of the pack. And anytime my dogs had a fight, if there's 5 dogs in the yard and 3 of them went at it, I knocked the hell out of everybody. And it was everybody had to pay the price. I think that's it. Hopefully that answered your question. I don't think the collars. I mean, it's good to have those 2 collars on just in case they start going after each other's necks. But the bigger issue is getting rid of the fighting. And hopefully I give you something there to use. At the minimum, get the Cesar Millan book. You can buy it used on Amazon. It's really a good book. And very helpful. Anyhow, Walter Davis. Check out his channel. Love you all. God bless.